people are looking for other ways to earn a living with the pandemic keeping most of the workforce at home. But as government and the private sector find ways to help save jobs or create new opportunities, what does the human resources landscape look like as we enter this new normal? Let's find out from Paul Rivera, CEO and co-founder of careers platform Kalibrr. Thank you so much for joining us, Paul. From your point of view, what will be the trends in the local job market in this new normal?
Sure. Hi, Rico. Thanks for having me this evening. I think historically the Philippines has actually been a very employee-centric market. Philippine talent is highly desired by companies abroad. You see that with millions of OFWs that have left the Philippines. It's seen through the BPO industry. It's seen through a very large freelancing industry. But I think with the COVID pandemic, we've now shifted, I think, now to an environment that it's not so employee-centric. It's much more employer-centric, where employers are going to have more bargaining power than they've ever had. And this should mean that salaries should go down, right? The ability for employees to negotiate wages because they had a lot of offers, that may disappear, at least in the near to midterm, because what you're seeing, particularly globally, are lots of companies laying off. You haven't seen that yet in the Philippines. Dole has been quite flexible in terms of providing rules and guidance around temporary furloughs. I think now being able to renegotiate wages. So that should, I think, delay a lot of the layoffs. But I do sense, I think, a shift in the market from employee to employer.
And Paul, should employees adopt to the digital platform in this new normal?
Yeah, I think what's happened in the last 8 weeks is a rapid digitization of the Philippines. I think my saying is it's digital or die, both from the consumer perspective as well as the corporate perspective. Digitization has been relatively slow compared to our peers in Southeast Asia, particularly in, say, Indonesia, even Singapore. And in the last 8 weeks, individuals, young and old, have had to get very comfortable with e-commerce because that's now the way to shop. It's the way to get food. Businesses have had to adopt all sorts of digital tools and really have to adopt to a new way of work. And so if you're not adapting and acquiring these digital skills, if you're not adapting and using these digital tools, if you're not leveraging distributed workforces, it's actually going to be very hard for you to operate, not just in the current lockdown situation, but in this new normal where we may be going from semi-lockdown to quarantines over and over again.
So if you're saying that digital or digitization is key now for every person who is looking for a job, what if your boardroom or your middle management are basically full of 40, 50, or 60-year-olds with huge pay packages but are technologically challenged? What must they do to be able to keep abreast with this changing normal?
I've seen many boardrooms, and they are often filled with older individuals, people in their 50s, 60s, 70s, sometimes a little bit older. Digital has often either been feared as too expensive or unnecessary or just too complex. And I think my advice for the older boardrooms is get your grandchildren in the boardroom, right? Get your children in the boardroom, people who are digitally native, who are familiar with all of the tools that they're using in their day-to-day lives to either be digital entrepreneurs or to communicate with their friends. They're the ones that can really help provide a boardroom, provide a company with a view in terms of how people expect to work and how people expect to be communicated and sold to. And I think in a new digital normal in the Philippines.
That's very good advice. I myself, Paul, I'm learning from my 15-year-old son regarding anything that is digital or technology-based. Thank you so much for joining us on The Final Word. Paul Rivera from Kalibrr. And when we return,